Sai Ram. In the last Parayanam session, I talked about the village service. The year 1985 happened to be the International Year of Youth, and Bhagawan wanted this to be marked by the involvement of his students and teachers at the institute in service to the villagers. I had mentioned about our visit to the villages and the service that we did. This was in the second and third week of May 1985, more specifically from the 16th onwards of May 1985. We had gone to this village and we had repaired the roads, painted the schools, cleaned the temples, cleaned the environs, and made soak pits, and many such activities we had taken up. And Swami had earlier told us that you go ahead and do the work, and then I will follow. In fact, after I follow, I will be leading you, he said. So Swami said, if I come along with you, then you will all be with me and you will not do work. So first you finish the work, then I will come and bless the villages where work has been done. So it was on the 26th of May 1985. A new phase in the history of the Sathya Sai Institute of High Learning was inaugurated by Swami's visit to these villages. Of course, in the Sathya Sai College, erstwhile Sathya Sai College in Vrindavan, we had the National Social Service Scheme, in which students of the Vrindavan campus along with the teachers would go to villages around Vrindavan and take part in social service activities. And since in those days we had students coming from those villages, and they would be the liaison with the village elders and the college, and the college would take up activities and we would go there. And there were a couple of visits of Bhagawan also to these villages, in which he talked about the importance of service, youth getting involved in service. So here Swami was visiting this village, couple of villages. In fact, they were twin villages. It was a big convoy that left Prashantilayam early in the morning, and we passed through a number of villages with the students singing bhajans on the way. I had mentioned earlier in the last Parayanam session how when we used to go every day, the bus would have the loudspeakers on the top, and we would be singing bhajans, purifying the air, and we would have children coming out of the villages and cheering us all the way. And you can imagine when Swami was going, everyone in the village would come to the roadside and catch a glimpse of Swami and wave to Swami and express their homage to Swami. It was thrilling to watch the reverence with which the villagers greeted Swami as his car passed by. At one place, there was even a virtual roadblock by the villagers wishing to pay their homage to Swami, and the students had to step in and clear the path for Swami to move, because we wanted to be present there by the Muhurtam time. We drove for almost 2 hours, and then to very beautiful hilly country. It was greenery everywhere, and the convoy stops on the outskirts of the Kammavaripalli village, and the village elders welcomed Swami as he entered the village. Swami was actually leading, he was in the front, and villagers were offering flowers at his feet as he walked. And then Swami came to a temple. There was a pandal put up in front of the temple, and Swami installed the idols of Rama, Lakshmana, Sita and Hanuman in the inner sanctum of this village. He also presented a set of musical instruments to the village bhajan mandali, and Swami had actually asked students to prepare for Ramakatha, and that is Ramayana in the form of songs. And so the entire recital was done, and it was since it was in the native language of Telugu, all the villagers enjoyed it thoroughly. Those were songs which were very popular to all the villagers, and therefore they enjoyed it a lot. After this, there was a short speech by Mr. Challa Subbarayudu. He was a minister of I think religious endowments at that time, and he had come. He was an ardent devotee of Bhagawan. He hailed Swami's visit to the village by saying that it is akin to Ahalya being sanctified by Sri Rama, because he said the villages which would be now energized, and they would become hubs of activity, purposeful activity. That's what he said. In his discourse to the villagers, Swami stressed the need for developing a spirit of sacrifice as the primary requisite for sublimating one's life. I had mentioned about this last time. He said that service itself is tapas. Swami also said that these two villages of Kammavaripalli and Ammagondapalam, he said, they are like my two eyes. He said he would be providing all amenities to them, and exhorted them to live in a spirit of unity and brotherhood. The awareness that divinity is latent in all would promote true fraternal feelings among them. Stressing the need for the development of faith in God, Swami said 5 minutes of sincere prayer would fetch them 55 minutes worth of grace. He exhorted the villagers to preserve the devotional atmosphere at the temple, which had been constructed and consecrated by him. Sathya, Dharma, Shanti and Prema, the virtues that would contribute to their happiness and prosperity. The village Sevadal convener then read out his thanksgiving address on behalf of the villagers and placed before Swami the needs of the village. To the immense joy of all gathered, Swami waved his hand and created first vibhuti and then a ring for the Sevadal convener. And Swami then asked us to distribute sweets among the villagers. From there, Swami proceeded to the Harijan colony and presented a set of musical instruments to the Harijans there for doing bhajans in the temple constructed by Bhagawan for them. Swami had also constructed some temple for them. He wanted them also to feel comfortable, because they had their own set of deities whom they worshipped, and Swami wanted them to continue the worship along those lines which they were used to. And from there we proceeded to Ammagondapalam, which is about a furlong away, and it was a sight worth seeing, because there was literally it was like a river. Swami's car surrounded by hundreds of students and hundreds of villagers. It was almost like a stream. It was like a flash flood as we proceeded from Kammavaripalli to Ammagondapalam. There was another rousing welcome for Bhagawan there. Flowers were strewn by the villagers on the path which Swami would tread. Doing Nagar Sankirtan, the procession reached the village temple. Swami had got this renovated. In the other place, Swami had got the temple built. Sweets and saris were distributed among the villagers, and here too Swami presented the village bhajan mandali with a set of musical instruments. The villagers enthusiastically participated in the bhajan at the temple. It was indeed a joyous occasion for the villagers, some of whom got their children blessed and in fact even named by Swami. While returning, Swami again halted at Kammavaripalli. Because to go to Ammagondapalam, you had to go via Kammavaripalli, and so the return also was through Kammavaripalli. In response to the prayers of the Harijans of the village, Swami again visited the temple where they performed Aarti. Swami walked up to the outskirts of the village, waving to the villagers who were singing bhajans along the roadside. Finally, the convoy began its journey back to Prashanti Nilayam. As was to be expected, the villagers had lined up at many places to have darshan of Bhagawan. Even those who did not know in the morning that Swami would pass that way had got to know that Swami had passed their village, and so the return journey was slower than the journey forward, and so Swami had to stop at every place. Swami stopped the car at some places and himself distributed prasadam to the villagers. It was a sight to see Swami standing on the footboard of his car and waving to the villagers at Jankampalli. Actually, Karnatanagapalli, which is on the other bank of Chittavati, was the village where Ishwarama and her parents had migrated to from their village, which was there in Kurnool district. It is said that Pedda Venkaparaju had been taken by Kondamaraju Garu to be shown some villages to be shown some lands which were under lease in that Kolimiguntla taluk and Kolimiguntla village. So Swami had so Ishwarama and her parents were staying there, and they approach to that village was through a dense forest, and there were dacoits there, and they had robbed people and killed them and all. Even the previous day to their visit, there had been some killing, and therefore Kondamaraju Garu convinced the parents of Ishwarama to migrate to the other bank of Chittavati, and that is how Ishwarama and her parents had come to the other bank of Chittavati. And you can imagine the thrill of the villagers when Swami came to that village. And Swami identified practically every one of them. He would identify a person and ask, hey, how is your father so and so? How is your son? How is your grandfather so and so? And like that, Swami could identify them by name and their, so to say, genealogy, their grandparents and so on. And it took a long time for Swami to go through this Karnatanagapalli. The escort party had a trying time keeping the devotional enthusiasm of the villagers in check. After the road to Puttaparthi had been put, earlier everyone had to come to the Bukkapatnam road, come to the other bank of Chittavati, cross, because there was no direct road to Puttaparthi. And this was probably after a couple of decades that Swami was going there. Of course, Swami used to go to the Bukkapatnam school on the eve of his birthday to talk to the children there and to invite them for his birthday feast when he was there in the old mandir. Every year, Swami was the patron of that school, and every year he would give the school something. One year it would be a set of band instruments, another year it would be books for the library, and so on. Every year Swami would do something. So after that, I think, it's my guess that Swami must be going to that village after a long time. So the villagers were very, very thrilled to see Swami there. We reached Prashanti Nilayam late in the afternoon. It had been a wonderful day for us to be with Swami and to see the enthusiasm of the villagers. The villagers, their genuine affection for Swami, and Swami's love for them. Swami was so, there was so much of affection in Swami's eyes. And here were people who were just from the earlier decades they had seen the growth of Swami's ashram. They had seen the stature of Swami. From a young village boy, he had now become a Sadguru, a global spiritual leader. But what had not changed was Swami's intimacy with them, his love for them, and his affection and concern for the villagers. And that was something which was very, very moving for all of us who witnessed it that day. This was one of the wonderful gifts that Swami gave us in the 60th birthday year. Sai Ram.